Now, as we were just saying, our next show is Exit Pursued by a Bear, starting May 14th, which is a dark revenge comedy by you. Tell us a little bit about the plot and what inspired you to write Exit Pursued by a Bear.
Sure. Well, the first thing was that stage direction is so hilariously simple in The Winter's Tale by Shakespeare, of course. And I just thought, how is there not a play called that yet? So I snapped it up. So it really started with the title combined with a growing sense, to get a little serious, a growing sense of outrage about the state of domestic violence in our country. And I thought, well, I can either go into a very serious and dramatic way of talking about this story, or I can go the complete opposite. So I ended up going the complete opposite because the amazing thing about comedy is that it allows you to get closer to the subject than drama often does. Especially for a subject that can be very intense, you want to look away, you want to keep some safe distance. But comedy says, come on in, lean closer, get to know these people, laugh, we're all friends. So in that way, it ends up being a story that I loved writing because of the kind of, at times, silliness, the ridiculousness, the humor, the chutzpah of the characters, and then also the kind of political, sociological discussion we get to have about some serious things. And it's, I'm a Southerner, so I get to make fun of the South a little bit, but mainly I get to really create characters based on people that I really respect and love from my home state. So it's kind of a play that has everything I love about fun theater in it.
That's great. For people who aren't familiar with the plot, can you tell us a little bit about the elevator pitch?
Sure. Well, basically it's about a young woman who is in an abusive marriage. And she decides after a couple years of marriage that she is going to get out, but she also wants to teach her husband a lesson. So she and her two friends, one of whom is a stripper named Sweetheart, and the other one is her best friend, Simon, who shows up dressed like a University of Georgia cheerleader. Those two, this group, this trio, decide to teach Kyle, the husband, a lesson by duct taping him to his lazy boy recliner and reenacting scenes of their marriage for him because they just read some Shakespeare and they thought, well, Shakespeare seems to teach us some lessons. So they decide they're going to copy Shakespeare, perform scenes of their life, and hopefully give Kyle a catharsis and change his ways. Of course, that plan doesn't go exactly as they hoped, but in the end, all is well, and there may or may not be bears involved.
It's a very funny script. I'm really looking forward to having it here.
Me too. I can't wait to see it again. It's one of my favorites.
And since you are from Atlanta, you said you drew a little bit on maybe your time growing up with it. Some speech patterns, maybe some of the characters you knew growing up.
Absolutely. Yes. Since we're all friends, we can be honest. Yes, there are some maybe closer to true life than some of the people would like me to admit. Yeah, I mean, what I love about the South is the lyrical nature of our speech patterns. And I don't have an accent now, but if I get tired or a little tipsy, I do. So maybe at an opening night party, you'll get me to, my y'alls will start coming out. But yeah, no, Southerners have a penchant for grand storytelling. We have this Southern Gothicness in our culture and our history. But there's also a sense of kind of rightness and righteousness, and there's a good way to do things and politeness. And it's the clashing of these two around this kind of harrowing subject matter that made for a really interesting play for me to write. And my mom, we have a mountain cabin, which is basically, in the same area that I imagine Kyle and Nan's house to be in the play. So it's 2 hours north of Atlanta. It's beautiful in the beginning of the Smoky Mountains. And it just felt like a nice contrast to kind of a beautiful outdoors. And then inside there's this, ruggedness and rawness. So that plays a little bit into the play too, inside and outside.
Oh, great. Well, we're really looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Me too.